a really interesting guest on the show today. First of all, he's hysterical, but I was sitting here in my house and this guy, Jack, who I've never seen before, stumbles upon my FYP.
What do you do? What do you do? This is a question to my GLP people. What do you do when your life turns upside down? What do you do when something that you used to do all the time, something you don't want to do anymore? What do you do when you have to deal with stress? When you dealt with stress, emotion, happiness, sadness, all emotion. What do you do? Because now, everything that I used to do for pretty much 3 decades doesn't work. Because I used to turn to food. And then I got older, it was alcohol. I don't want food, that kind of food anymore. I don't want alcohol anymore. Which is all great. But I'm having difficulty dealing with the level of emotions and how to physically deal with them.
Hey, Jack, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us.
Oh, Candace, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm very excited about this.
So what do we do? That's what came across my FYP when I was just scrolling through TikTok late at night. What do we do? And that video resonated with me so internally. It brought me back 10 months ago because I think as you've gone through the TikTok world and the YouTube world, there's so many non-scale victories. We celebrate all of the happy things, the scale moving, our fitting in chairs and how our body changes, and we talk about side effects. But I don't hear a lot of people talk about the harder things like readjusting to your new life. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on the program today.
Well, that video, it was I was it was tough. It was tough to record because I had a lot of emotions going through my soul, going through my body, and I was like, what in the hell is happening? I do not understand what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my body. I don't understand. I don't know how to deal with stress anymore. I don't understand what to do because normally for the last 30 years, there's food, right? It's been food. I didn't know we can roll back into this, but I didn't know I was fat until I was 11 years old in 5th grade, signing up for football. And I begged my dad, like, I want to go play football. I was like, all right, fine. So we go to the mall in California. That's where I was born and raised in the Bay Area. We go to the mall, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And I jump on the scale, and it says 195 pounds in 5th grade. And the guy says, you can't play football with your grade. You have to play with 9th graders. You have to play with high schoolers. And I looked at my dad. I was like, what? What does this mean? He said, well, you're you're big, right? So and then the kid, the director, whoever it was, the coach is like, yeah, you're too big to play football. And I didn't fathom that. So that was the first instance in my life that I felt like shit about my weight. And I had to wait until I got in high school to play. But as soon as I got home, I talked to my mom. My mom was a bigger woman. I get my size from my mom's side of the family. My mom was big. My brother was big. And that's a whole story we can get into later. They had gastric bypass surgery and they both died. So when
From the
I talked to my
surgery?
mom about, yeah, my mom, yeah, from the surgery. So my mom had gastric bypass surgery in December 1998 and she died February 2003. And so they pulled me out of school because they needed to be taking care of my brother and my mom. My brother was probably close to 500 pounds. My mom was probably 350, 375. And she's 5 foot, right? And so they pulled me out of school for a couple of weeks. I got permission from the school because they needed 24-hour care to get him out of the chairs, help him off the toilet. I mean, I'm a freshman in high school, 14 years old, seeing things my mind and my eyes should not see, right? So and about a week into it, right before Christmas, my mom was feeling sad because I didn't get a lot of sleep because they were always wanting something, getting something, doing something. plus doing my homework to make sure I didn't get behind in class. And so she decided to get out of the chair without my help, and her staples ripped internally. And she had internal bleeding. So she was, she was on the ground crying. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? What's going on? So we call 911. She goes into the hospital and she's in the ICU for a month. They had to induce a coma to make sure that for her healing process, because the damage was so extensive. And she had about 27 surgeries between 98 and then right before she died in February 2003. So, and that was, I mean, that shook my world. And then my brother passed away. He lost a lot of weight, but he mismanaged it. He died in 2008. But if they didn't have the gastric bypass surgery, they'd still be around and they would still just be fat. But, it is what it is, right? If they're around today, I'm sure I'd get them on compound Tirzepatide, what I'm taking, and life would be a lot better. So, and all that emotion was happening while I was making this video, right? Because ever since I've been 11 years old, if I came home from that day from getting rejected from playing football, I just grab some chips, grab some candy, eat my feelings essentially. But I didn't know that's what I was doing, right? That's what made me feel good. And that's how it progressed all the way into my teenage years, to my adult years, even when I was in the service, the same thing, right? It just repeated itself constantly. And then when I got onto the GLP-1 from LifeMD, I saw that there was supposed to be some side effects, and some people they don't feel anything until they get to maybe 5 milligrams, 7.5 milligram. It could be months sometimes before you actually could feel these, the effects. So it was a gamble going on the medication. But I tell you, I've been on every single diet and I can do anything for 30 days. I mean, I was a vegan for 30 days. I did carnivore for 30 days, so a juice diet I did for 30 days. I
Yeah.
could do anything for 30 days. So, let's just give it a try. I've tried so many, I mean, I tried phentermine hydrochloride at one point in time. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Oh,
this,
yeah.
but I tried that and for 30 days. And yeah, sure. I wasn't hungry and I've never worked so hard in my entire life. But when that came down, boy, I wanted some food and it better be the size of my, gigantic platter of food. So like it's just like, just going to town. I gotta go to, where's the nearest buffet? We gotta go there because I'm gonna go throw it down. That's how hungry I'd be. So it would just cancel each other out. So it was completely useless. So after 30 days, it just stopped that. But getting down to you know this medication, all of a sudden the food noise was gone. 14 hours after I took my first shot of 2.5 milligram.
Well,
14 hours later,
let's back up just a little bit, if you don't mind. What made you?
sure.
How did you get to the point where you found out about GLP-1 medications at all?
Well, it's been the word on the street through Ozempic. I didn't know it was a GLP-1, but you hear about Ozempic on the commercials. You see some people online, but nothing too large, right? It's been kind of suppressed, in my opinion, to be honest. And that may be big pharma or whatever it is, maybe that's controlling things. I have no idea, but it doesn't feel like it's not a lot of information. And if you start going down the rabbit hole, it feels sometimes it can be scary,
Yeah.
about the side effects. There's some people that could have got into the hospital. I'm like, oh my goodness. I've never been on a diet situation, had to go to the hospital. So do I really want to risk that?
Right.
So my wife works at Tesla here in Austin, and she has coworkers that were on it, and they were big and they got small.
Okay.
So that was like, well, that's interesting. And then I have a coworker who also got on it, and he was big. Now he's small. I was like, well, shit, what the hell, right? Why not, right? At this
Yeah.
point in time, I'm seeing results, and I could talk to a person who's actually been on it and get some personal feedback. You know what? Let's give it a shot. So I just started to do some Googling, and I found LifeMD, and I looked at the reviews and I found them, and then I was like, let's just give this a shot. Go through the program, talk to the doctor, and the doctors were great at LifeMD. They were so good and so personable, it made me feel comfortable, and like, let's let's get this started, right? So $329 a month for 13 injections. I mean,
Yeah.
I spent $329 a month in alcohol. So you know, what what is this? Why not, right? So we got my first vial, take the shot. 14 hours later, all of a sudden, I didn't want any caffeine. I didn't want to dip anymore. It just all the food noise was gone. I mean, gone. And I didn't know how bad it was until I took the medication. And it's so bad and it's so hard to explain what food noise is to people who don't have this problem. I mean, I was last night. I just was at my neighbor's house. After the storm, of course, after our little storm we had here, we had a little fire pit, and they were like, "So what's going on? What's going on, Jack? How's the GLP? How's the medication?" And I was like, "It's amazing. Like the food noise is gone." And all my friends are jujitsu ninjas, right?
Uh-huh.
So, you know, they don't. They're all super fit. They've never been fat their entire life. So, like food noise. What the hell is food noise? Right? And I gave him an explanation. It was kind of graphic, but I don't know how deep you want me to go into the graphicness of the
This
explanation,
is your
but I
feelings.
basically
You can take this however
okay,
you want to, however you
all right.
felt.
So okay, well, your audience is going to enjoy this. Maybe someone will be like, "That's exactly what it's like." You ever had an itch in your butthole region that's itching so bad, and you're in the middle of a meeting and you can't get to it all day, and it just keeps on nagging at you, just keeps on poking at you, and you're having a conversation with somebody like your boss, your director, your VP, like our sales are down, and you're sitting there, I gotta itch this thing. You're trying to be cool, like, yeah, yeah, sales, absolutely. We need to sell more things, absolutely. Like, but your brain's like, itch me now, So that's what food. And then you get to the bathroom and you feel the ecstasy of the scratch. That's
Oh my
food
god.
noise. That's food noise, right? But that thing is, but it's so, but the thing is, it's just, but that would represent one food, right? But it's not just the donut or the cookie or the food. I just ate breakfast, this large breakfast. Now I'm thinking about my snack, my post
Yeah.
coffee snack or my post C4 snack. And then I have my lunch. What am I going to have for lunch? Oh my gosh. And I get anxiety about what am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have lunch? Because I know I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be ravenous, even though I just ate freaking 1,700 calories for breakfast. I'm gonna be hungry and it's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy. So like, okay, I have to plan this out. I gotta plan where are we going? Where are we going? We gotta plan this out. I'm gonna go to Wendy's because Wendy's is my spot. I love that triple Dave's triple. Not anymore, but I did for a lot of years. So, but as soon as with 14, after this medication, all that was gone. So when I made the video, I was like, what? I mean, I got all this going. I got anxiety. I can't sleep because I'm sleeping and shit that goes on every single day between family or work or your car or traffic. I've been eating my feelings, right? I've been eating that. Like, oh, I'm pissed off because I got stuck in traffic for an hour and a half. I'm going to go have a drink or have a freaking burger, whatever whatever it is, So with this is gone. And I was like, man, what are we supposed to do? What do you do? What are we supposed to do with the anxiety that I feel right now? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to talk to? And making that video did make me feel good. I got a lot of great feedback from it. And there's people out there that feel like, man, I feel the same way. Like I don't drink with my friends even socially drink anymore. Like other people would comment that and DM me, like, I feel the exact same thing. What do we do? So because a part of the medical process, being a hyper responder as myself, and if other people down the line, if you're not a hyper responder, you're gonna get there. You're gonna feel that you can't have that cravings. The cravings are gone. You don't have what do you do with all this energy? I need to do something with this energy, negative or positive, whatever it is, because we positively eat and we negatively eat. Eating's eating, and it's delicious. It's fun. So that's why I made that's what really brought on that video.
Well, it's it's our society. Everything in our lives revolved, or everything in our former lives revolved around food and or alcohol, and what do you do
Yeah.
with that time? You mentioned that all
Yeah.
your friends are like very fit people and they didn't understand what that food noise is. Does it make you
Mm-hmm.
angry that to now know what it's like to not have that type of that noise in your brain? Does it make you angry to think about that that's the way that other people just get to walk around life?
I wouldn't say angry, but jealous. I mean, very jealous that people get to just walk around and then just eat food and just be cool with it, right? And I've it's gonna sound kind of funny, but I have a little, not a little obsession, but I have, an interest in bodybuilding, but not in their bodies, but their mentality is what really I always found fascinating. Like Ronnie Coleman, could eat chicken and rice and broccoli 17 times a day to be able to look like a Mount Olympus, just gigantic. But he's like, yeah, I just eat the food. It's just chicken and rice. I'm like, I've tried the chicken and rice and broccoli. That lasts one day. That was it. That lasted one meal. The next day, I was like, this is crap. I'm not having this. Just give it to my dog. Give me that burger, right? This is I want that fries. I want that burger. And there's people think that's a mental. You don't have lack of mental discipline, but I just when I try to take a bite, I literally spit it up, right? I mean, it makes me vomit. Eating that healthy, right? So I was interested in how these guys and women can be able to eat like that. And in my jujitsu friends, they eat just like that. They eat the same thing healthy because they're competitors. They go to competitions, so they have to eat a certain way. I'm like, how are you eating the exact same thing every single day? Like, oh, I just eat it. Like, you don't think about any food, ever. Like, did you maybe change it up a little bit, something tasty? Yeah, but not a big deal. And I'm envious of that, right? Because figuring out that what we have as fat people is not just our weight problem; it's a mental health problem that we have to deal with, and you have to deal with the mentality side. Right now, yesterday was a big milestone, day 45. I've never been on anything ever except for when I was very young in high school past 30 days. Going to 45 is a huge milestone. So now today's day 46 and now we're cooking. Now I know this is real because being on the GLP-1 makes dieting easy. It's exactly what it should be. It's not a struggle. It's not a struggle. I remember being when I was in the Air Force, because I was big in the Air Force too. I was almost 280 pounds when I got out of the Air Force. Going to my dietitian and they say, you need to eat a piece of chicken that's the size of a deck of cards. And I was like, bitch, like, are you serious? Just a deck of cards? No, no. Can I put some salt and pepper on it? No, just plain chicken, size of a deck of cards. Oh, dude, come on, man. Seriously? I'm gonna starve, right? But with this, I could eat that and be fine. Because now food is energy. That's where we're at now. This is how my jujitsu friends, how the bodybuilders are, how these people who are high performers, that don't like are crazy about food. This is how they are. Because I years ago, I was on a trek because I get on these diet kicks when my wife's like, "Honey, I'm worried about you. You need to lose some weight." I'm like, come on, man. Honey. I'm like, yes, dear. What are we going to do now? Right? Let's choose a plan. Let's make a plan. Let's execute the plan. Right? So there's a book called Seven Habits of High Performers, something like that. And I
Highly
read it
efficient
about,
people.
yeah, thank you. That's the one. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I was like, okay, so let's do some education, right? Let's figure out how these people think and let's see if I can execute that because I need help, right? I knew I need help then. I read the book, and then at the end of the book, it says they work out in the morning, they prioritize time, yada 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 yada. 7 things, right? If you all want to get it, get it. But there's one habit that they all share that every single bodybuilder, jiu-jitsu champion, Olympian, anyone who's a high performer in fitness, there's one thing they have in common that they'd never talk about: selfishness. You have to be selfish. And that's part of this being able to, on the GLP-1, you have to be selfish with your finances to be able to make that sacrifice. Because I've seen people that DM me like, man, I can't afford it. Like, I get it. I understand you can't afford it. Shit, I can barely afford it, right? But I want to be dead. I'm 40 years old. I'm on the track to die by 45, right? My grandfather died at 43 of a heart attack. My brother died at 42. I am literally in the range of not being here anymore. And I got two kids. My son's 14, my daughter's 12, and I sure as hell want to take her down the aisle, right? I want to do that. And I just felt so defeated. And I gave up before I had the GLP-1. Honest to God, truth be told, I just gave up. I was like, what? I've tried everything, everything, everything. And then when you get on that diet, all you think is that fucking food noise. That food noise becomes louder and louder and louder and louder as the diet goes on, and it doesn't go away. And I've talked to some, dietitians and doctors, and I didn't know what food noise was. I didn't know what the problem was. How do I explain that until you don't have it?
Right.
So this with the medication, it makes life so much easier. If you can't afford it, find a way, tabulate the amount of food that you eat outside at fast food restaurants and booze. Tabulate that up, and you're going to have a come to Jesus moment. And you're all like, well, maybe we could, you know?
That's very accurate. So your insurance, did you reach out to your insurance provider, you or your wife's
Oh,
insurance,
I
and
got
see?
immediately denied. Oh man, denied bad, denied red stamp, bam, denied on the jab. So I had to get the compound, right? And working with with the telehealth, they said the compound I like it better because you can do the self injection is 2.5 milligram. But if you want to go up to say 3 milligram or 3.5, you don't want to go to the full 5. You can adjust that. You can't do that with the pen, right? It's all or none, right? And I just saw a TikTok recently, a couple of days ago, from this lady who went off 3 weeks because she was traveling for work, came home and she was on 10 milligram, and she took her normal injection and she ended up in the hospital,
Yeah. I know
right?
that lady.
Because she was off it for 3 weeks. Yes, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? So that's terrifying, right? But with your own compound, you know what? I haven't taken it 3 weeks. Let's go back to the beginning dose. Let's just work our way back up again, right? So the pen, I think, is, there's countries that won't even allow you to bring it in. You're like, what is this? What is this? You can't bring this here. So, with the compound, it's a little bit more, you can use it a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm happy about being
Yeah,
on
you can
this.
work with your providers. I did the same thing. I didn't go from 2.5 to 5. I went from 2.5 to 3.5 because I didn't feel like I
Yeah.
needed the full 5. So
Yeah.
your insurance denied you, and then you worked with your family. Have your wife and kids and stuff? How are they taking this journey that you're on?
They're excited, extremely excited, because, well, obviously, I'm down 35 pounds in 45 days. That
Holy
was
crap!
yesterday.
My gosh, that's
So,
great.
yeah. So I'm very happy. I walk around the house, and normally 45 days ago I'm walking around like an 80-year-old man, and I have to like throw my legs around just to walk, and then every step is just painful. Everything I do is painful. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" Like, everything hurts. Only thing that doesn't hurt is this beard. Everything else is just in pain. I don't care where it is. I'm hurting everywhere.
Right.
But now it's just I'll walk around. I kind of walk the same. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't gotta do that anymore. My pain is definitely a lot less because GLP-1s are anti-inflammatory, and I'm just feeling that this week, and I'm feeling freaking great. And I'm like, hold on a sec. Let's see if I can walk, straighter without walking like a duck and a penguin that had a baby. It's just, it's great. My kids love it. My daughter, she's excited. So what's interesting is how this medication has also saved my life is that I started to look at TRT. So 40 years old, right? Men need to start looking at their testosterone levels around this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's take a look at this. So I went into a local clinic and got my blood drawn, and they told me I had polycythemia, which is blood cancer. And so they're like, well, we have to get this taken care of first, right? And that was like the first thing because my red blood cell count was off the charts. So they're like, we got to go give blood, and a lot of blood was taken from my body to making sure, like, if this is genetic, what's the deal, if this is real, yada yada, right? So they initially, you know, with this polycythemia, this and that, and it really freaked me out, right? Because
Yeah.
I was like, blood cancer, like what the hell? And then my testosterone level was at 127,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
very, very like this low, right?
Yeah.
So I got some blood work to get with some health internally. Got to help out, and so just yesterday, my all my blood work came back great. Now the polycythemia is gone. The blood cancer was a false positive, so we're all good. And I'm going to start TRT here pretty soon, so get those numbers up. So it's going to be a good journey. But if I never went on GLP-1, I would have never gone to the men's health clinic to find out that my red blood cell count was high, which can do with a heart attack or stroke. So basically every 2 months I got to get my blood sucked out. That's just like what the doctor said. Every 60 days, go get blood. That's easy, no problem, easy to manage. So that's this being on this journey has been emotional. It's been life changing. My brain, a lot of brain fog is gone because obviously it fixes your mind while you're doing this. I'm not drinking as much. I'm not eating sugar, so I'm eating whole foods. I'm eating proper meals and the proper amount of calories. So I could feel my body starting to fix it. And before it was not really fighting against it. But that's where the emotional part was. And I had to get on some anti-anxiety medicine just to like chill out for a little bit. But everything's good now and everybody's happy, so I'm looking forward to it.
How has your relationship with food changed in these 45 days?
Now it's just fuel. It's like in the morning I would normally have 6 eggs, 5 pieces of bacon, large cup of coffee, yada yada yada. Now I'm having a couple pieces of toast and a protein drink, and I'm fine. It's just fuel. Now I can know now that I feel like okay, I know my body wants this. Like that. So I eat what it's craving, right? The internal healthiness craving to be able to make this body move how it's supposed to move and how it's supposed to heal. And that's what my relationship with food is completely different. Now, do I miss the
Yeah.
enjoyment of eating? I do. Because my wife and I went out to eat 3 weeks ago, went to the steakhouse locally. I got a filet mignon. Let me tell you, a 4 ounce filet 47 days ago would have pissed me off. I tell you what, like this thing, you want me to eat a deck of carb, piece of meat? So but now I ate my little 4 ounce fillet, some asparagus, and I was full. Like, what
Wonderful.
gypsy magic is this? So
That's
I'm just wow, it's so good.
that's what it feels like. It does feel like it's just magic. It's like this just
Yeah,
it's a miracle. Like absolutely
yeah,
life-changing miracle. And you said that your reduction of caffeine and
oh
alcohol
yeah.
has gone down a lot too.
Oh yeah, my alcohol's zero now. So I don't even want it. That's the thing. Because I'm gonna say I was a big drinker, but at this, I want to drink at the end of the day, right? Either be it's wine, a glass of whiskey, or beer, one or the other, and that's what I want at the end of my day, right? And maybe two, depending on how stressful I was, depending on what happened, but it was at least one every single day. But now I don't even. It's not even a thought that I want to have it. Like I have a great bottle of whiskey in my liquor cabinet. That's just gathering dust. I don't even want that. And to me, that's more than life changing, right? That's behavioral modification.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And this medication should be widespread. It should be shouted on the rooftops to be able to have people to have this.
Yeah. Yeah, access is definitely an issue. What about your relationship with your friends? How are you managing how you interact with your day-to-day friends? Has it changed at all?
It did in the beginning. Yesterday was the first time I actually hung out with everybody. Before, it just I felt like the third wheel. Does that make sense? I felt like
Yeah.
the third wheel. Everyone's drinking and eating all this food and they're laughing. And I was like, I remember what that was like, because I go to the party and, I want to partake in the food. I want to partake in the alcohol. I want to have a good time too. Nothing out of the control. We're not doing anything white boy crazy. We're just you know, it just really we're just throwing back and just, relaxing, like, that's it. But now when well, before, it felt like it was a third wheel. Yesterday was a normal kind of get together, and then it was comfortable for me. For the first time, I felt comfortable not drinking because I've been on diets before, intermittent fasting. All my windows not open. I can't have that, right? So my window ain't open. I'm not drinking. If my window was open, I would. But if the window's not open, or I'm doing like a 48 or 50 hour, 60-hour fast, 72-hour fast, over the weekend, well, I can't do it. And it just felt terrible during those times. Like I really want that. And it smells so good because even when you're fasting, your senses starting to heighten greatly. And it just felt awkward. Last night I was fine, completely fine, not drinking or not eating all the food. I had some, right, but nowhere near the Mount Everest mound, of food. Before, I would feel embarrassed to go up and get food, right? Because oh, it's a fat guy. Go get ahead. Gotta get ahead of Jack. He's going to eat it all, right? That's the type of deal. Even like at work, if there's food at work, I would never take it. I gotta go. I gotta go do something else, right? I don't want to eat in front of people. So that's just how I feel, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who do feel like that. I don't want to feel like, oh, of course he's eating, of course, he's eating all, like it's just embarrassing, right? You get that stigma of being the fat person, and everybody just prejudges you exactly. Oh, you're just a lazy individual, not knowing this is a mental health problem, and it's detrimental all through the nation and the world with mental health and obesity. It's a problem, and the non-scale victories are more important than the scale. So, I used to, when the first 30 days, I was checking my weight constantly. I'm like, is this shit working? Like, so the first week, I lost 23 pounds in the
Shoot.
very first week, so I was like, honey, this is working. This is legit. This is legit. So, but now it's just in the second week, I didn't lose anything. But the 23-pound loss the first week was freaking phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, okay. So now I'm more focused on the non-scale victories. When I get up and I walk around my property, because I live on 5 acres out here in Texas, I walk around my property. How far can I get before my back wants to say, you need to sit down? Right. That's how I feel now. That's where I'm more focusing on how can I get up properly, right? Because if something falls on the floor now, it's just dead to me. I'm just gonna kick it over there, and hopefully somebody else picks it up because I'm not gonna get it. If I have to get something, then I gotta plan this out. We gotta make sure I gotta lean on something and be able to pick it up. So it's I'm looking forward to the next 12 months, 24, 36 months, and being a different person. I made sure I took pictures last night. And I was like, guys, 12 months from now, I want to be entirely, I'm going to look different, feel different. So I'm looking forward to I'm sure my wife is looking forward to it. So that's, you know, that's what we're just excited, right? Just excited.
You mentioned fasting. Is it something that you're doing?
Not intentionally, so I I don't know. I really not really focused on the fasting as much as I thought, because before I started the GLP, I was like, you know what? I was an avid faster for a little while, and then it would stop because of the obvious mental health food noise, right? But with the GLP-1, I'm like, you know what? I eat if my body's hungry, because I still times get hungry. It needs fuel, right? It doesn't want chips. It wants steak. It wants some chicken. It wants some, fish, right? It wants some protein, right? Because we're missing something here. So I'll feed it. And it's not a mound. It's not Mount Everest. It's just, and as soon as I eat, I'm like, oh, well, I'm full now. But it's not like, oh, Thanksgiving full. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, roll me over, put me on the couch, just let me sit back. Don't bother me for 2.5 hours while I digest all of this situation, right? It's never like that. And that's what my most enjoyable part of that. So this is.
You mentioned the Thanksgiving, and we are approaching the holidays. How are you do
Mhm.
you think that has your plans for Thanksgiving or those type of festivities changed, or how you're gonna to deal with that going into the stress of the holidays and your new GLP-1 medications?
You know, I was just talking to my wife about this Thanksgiving thing because we have a big because Thanksgiving for our group of friends is a big deal. So my wife's from the Philippines, so the Filipino network in our area, they get together every holiday and we have this big smorgasbord. I mean, it's a lot of food. We could feed an entire platoon, excuse me, platoon of Marines, no problem. And there's not that many people. So, but going to this, it's just going to be, I feel, I was going to eat until I feel okay, right? And it's not going to be a big deal, right? Because I was a little stressed out about it, being around people. Because even before I started GLP-1, like I still feel like I didn't really want to be around because I feels like I'm a burden on everybody else. Like I got to make sure Jack is okay. If I don't bring my chair, I can't come. I bring my chair everywhere I go. I mean, people out there who know what I'm talking about. You gotta bring your chair. You go to a restaurant, there are arms on those chairs in that restaurant. That restaurant's
Right.
not happening. And you gotta do the Google reviews ahead of time. Is there chair is it so there was a time that my we went to one of our restaurants here in a local area. And I dropped off my wife and kids. I get a table and I parked the car, come in, they got at the table and there was had arms. And I was like, come here. So I want to see, we had to go sit down. We had to wait for another table that didn't have arms. Right. And that was embarrassing for me. Right. And it was embarrassing for my wife, embarrassing for my kids. Now we had to wait an additional 30 minutes for a table that didn't have arms on it. And it's just, I'm looking forward to not having that problem anymore. And there's so many people who have that problem. There's great places I want to go see and go do and walk, because I could feel something starting to build in me. Like, you know what? I want to go on a hike, right? I could barely walk 100 feet, but I know internally, like I could see in the future that I'm going to go on a hike, right? I can't wait to get my kids and we're going to go a hike because there's a lot of great trails here in Central Texas, a lot of great trails. And but I'm looking forward to going doing these things and helping out my kids and playing catch, right? I haven't been able to play catch in forever because I just can't stand up for long periods of time. After 5 minutes is maximum amount of time. I'm at work and there's people talking to me and we've been standing for 5 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. If you're seeing this, I'm not listening to you. I'm just thinking, I need a chair, right? Where's the nearest place that I need to sit down? Because we can sit down and talk too. This is also, we could do that. We could sit and talk. Then we don't have to stand and talk. So be more courteous to if you got bigger people that you're I'm talking to your audience here. If there's other people who are watching this that are not big, if there's big people and you're standing and talk to them, be courteous and help them find a chair. Let's go sit down at the conference room. We'll go sit down here. Let's go sit. Trust me, it'll mean the life to them. They will remember that because it's something that's just being more courteous because it feels like we get dumped on all the time. All the time we get dumped on. It just by immediate judgment. And it's sad, right? And it's sad. Our mental health is physically manifested. There's people who have mental health problems that aren't physically manifested, and they might more be jacked up than us. But since my mental health problem is now physically manifested into my weight, you're going to automatically judge me because I'm lazy. Shit, I ain't lazy. Believe that. I'll put in more work than anybody else. I'll hurt at the end of the day. Be popping Tylenol like it's Skittles, but I'll get the work done. You know.
Yeah, that's very interesting how it is viewed differently. That our problems are external. You can see them a mile away, and it is an instant point of
Mhm.
judgment. What are you looking forward to the most in your non-scale victories? Like, what are you looking forward to?
All right, this is going to be good, right? I want to wear suits, Candace.
Aw.
I want to wear suits. I want to wear three-piece suits everywhere. I want to wear a three-piece suit as pajamas. I got ever since I got I got that first 23-pound week. I have a bookmark list in my Google Chrome full of suits that I want to buy as soon as I hit my goal weight. I just want to look fabulous. We're gonna go down to Walmart, suit time. And I'm gonna go down. I'm going down to Walgreens, suit time. I want to wear suits everywhere. That's my biggest non-scale victory that I'm looking forward to. I don't know. It's just my thing. This other stuff, I'm sure, but I want to wear suits.
No, I have those weird like things too. My goal things I want to. It's actually kind of
Mm,
similar. And when I wear like the long dress and the 1950s hat and the gloves, and yeah,
Right?
no, I get you.
Right? Yeah. You're proper. Whatever, with some Peaky Blinder
Yeah.
type of fit. I guess, it's
You and
classic
I will have to start a
1920s.
Pinterest board.
Right? Yes, right. Right. I don't want to look like a Peaky Blinder 1920s classic, right? It's just I mean, to me, I don't know, because I've been wearing black, right?
Oh yeah.
Forever, it
Standard
feels like,
issue.
right? Black standard issue fat people clothing,
Yeah.
black, right?
Black and
So
baggy.
have color, right? Because you're wearing this beautiful color of red. It looks fabulous on you. It looks gorgeous,
That's
right?
a
I'm
non-scale
looking for it.
victory, being able to shop at
Absolutely.
Costco on the tables.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Just simple things. Just simple things. Just buying clothes that I now have to buy on Amazon. That 5XL from this company and 5XL from this company. Sometimes they don't match, right? Like this 5XL, this is really like this is a sheet. I should throw this on my bed. To this is really way too small. This is an extra large, right? And 5XL for what? China, some people in China or in Asia or whatever, in the Philippines, this is not 5XL Texan, right?
I had I
So
had the Jack, I had the opposite problem. I shopped at Lane Bryant. That's where I shopped at. And I shopped nowhere else. It's the only store. And so I knew that a size 26 here is going to be a size 26. And I didn't necessarily need to try everything on. I could just grab all the
yeah,
26s, not have to go into the dressing room with the stupid mirrors, and then just buy those clothes and take it home. When I sized
yeah,
out of that store and I had to go into real stores, I had a mental breakdown in the parking lot. I just found out that as an adult, I don't know where to shop. I
right.
don't know where to
How does this
go.
work?
How does any
Right.
of this work? And navigating this is, that's why I'm so
Mhm.
excited, like to watch your journey from the start. Do you have any fears of this? Like any deep rooted fears about, I don't know, anything, failure,
Well,
just
a fear of loose skin. I know that's real superficial, but I think all of us are going to have that, and if the fear of the loose skin, but being 432 pounds or 200 pounds of loose skin, I'll take it any day of the week. So that's where I have fears about. I have fear about people treating me differently when I'm thin, when I'm done with this journey. Are they going to,
in a negative
walk
or
into a coffee
positive
shop
way?
in a positive way, right? People, because I've been seeing that a lot online, that there's been people who've lost a lot of the weight. They start treating like people are nicer to you. They, because now, as a large person, they just ignore me, right? And it's just being ignored. But now being able to make eye contact with somebody and they're not like trying to hide from me, like, I have leprosy and my fatness is going to catch on you or something, right? So it's just, I have a fear about that. And,
But
but
elaborate
I'm
on that.
looking,
Are you fearful that they are going to treat you nicer and you're going to be angry in that aspect, or
yeah, you know what? That's where I'm at, right? I'm like, especially people that I know personally that say, at my job site or my regular places I go, let's say a year from now, I've dropped 200 pounds and I'll say, oh, Jack, wow, amazing. And all of a sudden they light up and they're different. People look at you different. How am I going to react, right? Am I going to be like, assholes, right? I mean, am I going to sit
yeah?
around like the world is just a bunch of assholes, right? Am I going to do that? So I'm more, but I'm more. I try not to focus on the negative of the situation. Try to focus on our positives because you got to have that positive affirmation going forward. That positive thinking. The negative thinking could bring you down into a hole. But learning how to deal every single day is something new. Every day is like Christmas now, right? I just go meal by meal, Sunday by Sunday, because Sunday is injection day. So meal by meal, Sunday by Sunday, the same way we did in the military. We just got to get to the next meal. We just got to get to next Sunday. That's just how I mentally get through this, and it's been working out pretty well now. Especially that time when it felt like I was in a dark place. It felt like I don't know how to emotionally talk, but social media surprisingly has been very rewarding. So I mean, that's been a huge positive part of this too. And the GLP-1 community on TikTok and on YouTube, for the most part that I've seen, has been very, very, very welcoming, very helping. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
what I'm excited about too. So I'm hoping to
Did
get
you
to reach
think
more people.
before you started this medication, did you video yourself? Did you have any other type of like social outlets?
No, no, none whatsoever. Like my first video that I posted on my TikTok, I have it pinned, and it's like I got to do something. Something's got to change, right? Because I'm gonna die. Someone's gonna. So I'm starting GLP-1, right? It's either this or death. That's how I'm mentally putting this. Now, there's people that I've also seen. I don't know if you're probably more aware than I am that there's what they're calling the GLP-1 turtles, ones that who have been on it for 6 months and haven't lost nothing, have none of the positives of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the percentage of those people are, but my heart goes out to them. And because I see them pop up sometimes on my FYPM and say, "Oh, I'm a GLP-1 turtle. I've been taking this for 5 months. Haven't lost a pound. I still eat the exact same." And to me, there's got to be something else going on in your body that's fighting it. So you got to talk to your doctor, go someone get some blood work done,
Yeah.
because there's no reason why this shouldn't work. So my wife's going to be starting here pretty soon too, because
Oh,
she's seen
really?
how successful. Oh yeah, she's going to start real soon, and she's excited about it too. So she's a little worried about the needle, a little worried about the side effects, but she's going to take it in stride, right? We're going to take it day by day for her. So we're going to be starting that over the next 2 to 3 weeks, whenever she gets her medication in from LifeMD. So we're waiting on that to come in.
Do you feel
So we're
like you
just
will
we're
ultimately be more successful doing this as a family unit?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Because like before, when I was having troubles with, still having troubles from now to now with like food smell, right? Like a pregnant lady, like, oh my god, onion and garlic still smells so terrible,
Oh,
right?
really?
But before, it's like, yeah, it smells so bad. I need to get. I leave my house, right? When she's cooking, I gotta leave. I gotta go get in my truck and go to my neighbor's house. I can't stand it. I mean, it's just so pungent now. But before, I love garlic and onion smell in the pan. That's the best.
Yeah.
But now it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird.
What would you okay, I want you to talk directly to the person who's maybe in your shoes that has not started this medication that's, maybe the over researcher, the person that's just can't pull the trigger on doing this. What I want you to talk to that person as to maybe why they should consider doing this.
Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith. How many times have you failed? How long have you been big? How many times you failed? There's more benefit than negative. There's going to be either you're going to react or you're not going to react. You're not going to go to the hospital. I can't guarantee it, but for the most part, people go to the hospital. So this medication has the opportunity to change your life, and you just have to risk it for the biscuit, right? You just gotta do it. You gotta take that leap of faith, spend the money, and see what happens. I would even say open a credit card if you can't afford it, and just get it. Just do one cycle, just take it and see what happens. Either it's not going to work, and it'll just put in the back of the things that you failed in the past, or your life changes. Right? It's black or white. It's either nothing or your life is going to be brand new. It's the first day of your brand new life. Those are your options. No other diet, no other program has that capability to help you out, no matter what it is. The first day you take your shot, it's gonna be the first day, or it's gonna be nothing, right? But some people got to be patient. But I say just freaking do it, give it a try. That's what I did, because I over researched the hell out of this thing. I read all the paperwork, all the papers about the negative, and then some of the stuff about the positive. Negative stuff can be scary, you know, but there's a lot of positive that I just, what? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Just do it, and take the leap of faith.
I love
That's what I
that.
would say.
I heard from a little birdie that you were considering before you found out that compounds existed, that you were considering taking out a personal loan to pay for these medications?
Oh, because I thought they were $2,000 a month. I couldn't believe it. I was gonna, I was gonna mortgage my, put like a second thing on my truck, so I could get some money out to be able to pay for these things. I was like, okay, it's $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, so let's move some money around. Okay, I can make some more money here. Honey, work for some more overtime. We can. It sucks, but I'm gonna die. So let's just see what happens, right? Because that's where me and my wife were at. Like, you're gonna die, so we need to fix this. I was like, honey, it's $2,000 a month. 2000 because the people she worked with, they had the pen. They didn't have the compound, right? So I didn't know compound was around. So when I looked up on Life MD and it said compound Tirzepatide, $329 for 13 injections. I was like, man, that's $100 and some odd dollars a month, barely, $90 a month. I'm like, yeah, I can afford that. Why not? Let's just make it happen. And that's what I'm really excited about, so that's why my wife's going to be on it. So instead of $4,000 a month, we're going to only spending $750 ish, a month for us to be on this medication, which is completely worth it because, my wife is not a large woman. She's only 200 pounds, but, she wants to lose her weight and she's been struggling with too for the last like 2.5 years. And so this is going to help her out as well. Why not? Why not?
It
Just see what happens.
it blows me away though that even that $2,000 price tag, that you were gonna do that no matter what,
Yeah.
no matter what it
No matter
took
what.
to save
No matter what.
yourself and to save
Hmm.
your family and
Yeah,
the relationship that with your children.
absolutely.
I think it's
That's where I was at mentally.
so that's a excellent point. Your kids, what are you most looking forward to? 'Cause I assume, 400. What did you start at? 432 pounds.
432. Yeah, 432
At
pounds.
432 pounds, you're limited to what you can do with your kids. How has it already? I know you've lost what, 35
Hmm.
pounds? Is that right?
35 pounds. Yeah,
You
yeah.
lost 35
35
pounds.
pounds.
How has it changed, if any, now, or and how do you foresee it changing the relationship with your children?
It's already changed already. So I'm strong enough to actually walk around and get to do some things like, so that's going to be I guess hard to explain. There's a patch of trees. And in the middle of the patch of trees, there's like a one little clearing, maybe about 20 by 20. And I went in, and my son was like, "We want to build a fort. We want to build a fort." I was like, "Where do you want to build a fort at?" And I was like, "What's over here?" I was like, "Well, show me." So I walked over there and I looked in there, and it's like, you know what? If we got some camo netting, when we put a ceiling and we wrap this in camo netting, it'd be one hell of a fort, right? He's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You know what? Don't worry about it." So I was able to buy that, and then I helped them build their fort. It was the
Oh,
first thing I've done anything with my son in forever that's outside of the house, right? So we built this giant fort, and his friends all live in the neighborhood. So now they go, that's like their little area now. They go out to their camo netted fort in the middle of our little forest, and they dug a hole for the fire, and they got their cots out and they camp out there on the weekends, so that right there was worth the what this medication in gold already. And I'm just starting, right? We're
yeah.
46 days into this. When I'm 450 days in this, I'm going to be a damn superhero. So that's
Yeah.
where I see myself, right? I can't wait to start running with my son because my son wants to go into the Air Force and want to be a firefighter. So that's where he wants to do. So I can't wait to bring him to the gym and work out with him. My daughter wants to go in the Air Force and be in public affairs. So she wants to do some more acting. So we're going to be able to drive her to where she needs to go and help her work with her lines. Because being big, you get tired, right? You get tired, right? And it's been sad for me that I've been lacking as a father and as a husband because I feel like a boat anchor to my family because I'm supposed to be the strong one, right? But now, before GLP-1s, I was the boat anchor. I was the weakest link in my family, and as the husband, excuse me, I'm supposed to be the strongest link, right? I'm supposed to be the leader of this family, supposed to have, be able to set the example. My example sucks, right? My example is terrible because I tell my son before, don't be like me. Don't be like me. This is not what you want to do. Trust me. You don't. My kids don't have a weight problem, thank God. And I put that into my wife, and she's been doing the culinary expert for them since they were little. So they've been doing whole food since they were small. So they don't have a weight problem at all, thank God. But I just want to go out and do things, and I'm looking forward to being to help them. And my daughter loves archery, right? And be able to help her in her backyard and go and do archery with her. I mean, there's just things I want to be able to do. So I like to get to 300 pounds fast. I know we're supposed to be patient, Candace, but
Oh, that's not
I
my
mean,
that's not my
I'm
objective,
just
my
saying,
friend. That's
right?
the internet.
Um, yeah, the internet and my doctor says you got to be patient. I'm gonna patient. You shove it up my ass. I want to
I
get
think
this thing
losing too much weight is
TikTok,
like having too much money. Maybe it might
right?
be a problem. It might be a problem, but I'm willing to try.
Right? You know, 50 Cent, I don't know if you know, but 50 Cent said something this years ago, like 20 years ago. He said, the people who say that money doesn't make you happy haven't had made enough money yet. So that's, and I love that. Right. So if losing weight doesn't make you happy, wait, you haven't lost enough of it yet. Right. So I'm looking forward to losing all of this and being able to go do things more proactive. We're actually like, I can actually plan because my wife likes to travel. Right. And well, I like to travel too, but I have the amount of mental pain and physical anguish that say, you know what, let's go to Florida. And then my first thought was like, oh, this is going to be so painful. I'm going to have to walk on the beach, walk up these stairs to the apart, to or the Airbnb or going to the hotel. It's a lot of walking, right? And so she's excited about telling me all this stuff, and I'm just thinking in my brain, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to hate this. I'm going to hate this, right? So for the years when we go travel, my first thought is pain, not fun, not
Well,
fun.
let alone
Just,
getting there. How are you gonna fit in
yeah.
the seats or what are we gonna do? Like,
Well, yeah, exactly, right? I mean, we're
yeah.
gonna fit in an airplane, forget about it. We drive everywhere, right? So it's got to be it's got to be a driving distance, right? If it's a 2 day travel, we can get there, right? So we're gonna drive. And driving, is painful, right? My back
Yeah.
kills me, right? It just kills me. So now in June, we're looking to do because my group of friends every June they go out to Florida and they rent this giant Airbnb, the same one every single year. It's almost like a timeshare, but it's not a timeshare. They just
Right.
do it themselves. And there's like 30 of them. And they have this giant party and they go fishing for the entire week. And they've been wanting us to go for years. And I like paint. Right. So this year coming up, I told them I was like, we're coming
Oh,
this year. We're gonna come this June. Coming up, we're gonna go to Florida with you guys, and they're excited. And now my kids and my wife are excited. Like, well, this is gonna happen because I can mentally project that I'm gonna be down 100 pounds, at least 100 pounds by June, right?
yeah.
So I'm right around the 300 pounds, right? And when I'm around 300 pounds, I can do a lot more things. I can bend over, right? It's not nothing's
Yeah.
dead to me down there, right?
Yeah.
So at 300 pounds, I can still do things, right? I'm not going to be as tired. I'm not going to hurt as much. So this has already changed that, right? The happiness that this medication is already giving my family and my friends, because this medication is not only affecting me, but everything around me. I'm better at my job because I'm not so damn tired all the time, right? Because I'll be the 2 o'clock sleepies, they come in quick, right? Because you eat that big giant meal for lunch. And then around 11:30, by 2 o'clock, it's like, who scheduled this meeting? Right. Someone just sent me the cliff notes. Right. So it's just now I don't have those issues. I don't get tired in the afternoon, and this is why I think everybody should be on it, regardless if you got to lose weight or not. But for the most part, 98% of Americans can lose 30, 40 pounds, except for the outliers of the 2%. I mean, it's probably less than that, honestly. Everybody should be on this medication. because not only because there's studies coming out, like it's all anti-Alzheimer's, helps your heart, helps your liver, helps your lungs, helps
Sleep
your
apnea,
sleep apnea. We're just
liver,
healing
fatty
things,
liver disease,
fatty liver
fibrosis.
disease. Just, I mean, it's a laundry list of things. And when you start to feel your body starting to heal, it is amazing, right? Because now things are starting to like, this is how I'm supposed to function. This is what we're supposed to do. We're actually processing food correctly. And this is all going so well, right? I'm like, fantastic, right? I can't wait. I can't wait.
I love that. And I love that you have something to look forward to. Like you have
Yeah.
that June trip and that'll
Yeah.
keep you on the straight and narrow because you
Oh,
have
yeah.
June to think about. I
Oh, yeah.
absolutely love that. I I want to follow you along your journey. If we can do like a check-in, maybe like in a
Sure.
few months and just see how you're going. Cause it's so rare to find a creator that's just barely fresh out of the gate starting this. Cause you have videos from your first injection, like
Yeah.
getting the box I
Yeah.
watched on your
Yeah.
TikTok.
I got my first box. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it has somebody that's so good at it because you are very, very good at it. Like the way that you
Oh,
tell
thank
the
you.
story and then you can carry it, you're and it's so from the heart. Like there's no lies detected. You know what I mean? It's you.
Thank you. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I absolutely enjoy it. And I'm so excited that your wife is going to be on it on the journey with you too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we're
And
looking
your
forward.
kids get to witness their dad do the most challenging thing he's ever done in his entire life. It's
Yeah,
changed his life for them. And that's going to be memories that are going to stick with them for the rest of their lives.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being their hero again. When there were 3 little kids, there was nothing that I could do wrong, right?
Right.
Dad's the hero. I'm not the hero anymore, and I know that. I could see it, right? But I'm looking forward to being the hero again. That's what I'm
You're
looking.
changing your life for your entire family and for yourselves and so you could be alive.
Mm,
That's pretty heroes save lives and you're
yeah,
saving your own. That's pretty
that's right.
heroish.
Yeah, you got to save your life before you got to save somebody else's, because once gets down, there's other people I can help out and hope somebody else gets encouraged to call somebody up and get this done. Life MD, they really did a great job, and I'm never going anywhere. Right, my doctors are great. They are very personal. They call me up. Hey, how's it going? Outside of our appointments, how's it going, Jack? Are you okay? Yeah, yeah, everything's great. Or how's that medication, or like for anxiety? How's that working out? Actually, honestly, I could be a little bit stronger, right? So, because now, man, because to give as I'm a little, I have insomnia a little bit, for that's one of the side effects of these things. So, my anti-anxiety medicine helps with my insomnia, which is great. So, I don't like take it at night, which calms down my brain, and I can go to sleep, right? And that's just amazing, right? Amazing. And my snoring's down, right?
Sleep
Woo!
apnea.
Right? Snoring is down, right?
More reasons for your wife to love this
More reason,
medication.
right? She's gotta, I can take out my earplugs at night now. Yeah,
She's back in the room again.
yeah. She's all like, "Where are you? Oh, thank you. Welcome back."
Jack, do you have any kind of code or anything for LifeMD?
Not yet. I'm still working with the company, but any just search them up and just
No,
give them.
no. What we'll do for anybody that's watching, if YouTube has changed it a little bit. If you click on the more button and then you click on more again, all of Jack's the link to the original video on his TikTok feed,
Yeah,
LifeMD, and if he has a code in the future, I'll make sure to change that
yeah.
hyperlink.
We're still working that on. Yeah,
Yeah, but maybe just in the notes section, just tell him that Jack sent you.
yeah. Exactly. Just said Jack sent you. They don't know where I
Yeah.
am.
Click on that, and if you wanna follow any other Jack's social channels, will be down there too, but we're definitely gonna come back and revisit this because I cannot
Absolutely.
in one of these videos, we're gonna turn on the camera, and it's gonna be you in your three-piece
Yeah.
suit.
Right? In my three-piece suit, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna look like a
It's
Peaky Blinder. It's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen. Yeah.
I've never been so excited for a man to wear a suit ever, it's not my thing, but I'm excited for you. I love that for you.
Yeah, thank you, Candace. I appreciate it.
But we'll check back in there, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, we'll talk soon, Candace. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
100%. Thank you so much.